What's going on, everyone? You ready for another grain to glass video? Today we're making a California Common. Why are we doing a California Common? Because it's not so common in the liquor store around here. It's actually hard to get. Even the specialty shops don't really have any commons. Either way, we're gonna do a California Common. Let's go!
Party time, brews. This song ain't no good, but we got nothing to lose.
So why do a California Common? Big question is why not? Haven't had one in a while. Brewing did one recently within the last year or so, but other than that, there isn't any really easily obtainable commercial examples around here. So I'm gonna give it a shot. Why else did I go for it? Well, because Dana said so. And because they're tasty, real easy one to drink. They hail from California. It was a nice working man's beer. The California Common kind of started in San Francisco area, I guess. Anyway, Anchor Steam beer is kind of the commercial example that everyone knows, but this will be basically the only one I know because I can't have another example real easy right now. So we're gonna get at it. First thing first, let's talk about the beer. I'm just gonna pause over here while the magic happens.
Category 19B in the BJCP, the California Common's a lightly fruity beer with a grainy maltiness. It's slightly toasty with a caramel flavor and emphasizes some good old American hops. Northern Brewer is the prime hop that's used in the California Common. However, you can substitute some other different types of hops in there. Just don't use anything too citrusy.
Sounds great, I assume. Either way, first thing we're gonna go for is the grain bill. Grain bill's pretty straightforward. For this, you could use almost all pale and a little bit of crystal for the darkening or getting that SRM up there. And if you do your research online, Brew Your Own has a good article on the California Common if you wanna know a little bit more. But I'm gonna be keeping it fairly simple. I'm just going with 4.4 kilograms of pale malt, 250 grams of biscuit for that biscuity flavor that everyone loves. And I found out recently that the biscuity flavor isn't actually biscuit or cookie. It's a cookie biscuit. Figure that out. It tastes like it tastes. Okay, back at it. And finally, we're going about 10%-ish, maybe a little less on the crystal malt. I'd plan on using a little darker crystal malt, but all I could get my hands on right now was the Crystal 20, so we're just using light crystal malt. The SRM calculated in Brewfather is still gonna be within the range of what you'd be expecting, so that's all good. And for the California Common, one of the main features of the California Common is that you don't want a super citrusy beer or anything like that. It's just kind of a nice lager-ish beer. We're gonna be using lager yeast, but fermented a little bit higher temperatures, not necessarily full, like we're not gonna go up to 23, but we're gonna use 2 packs of yeast and just keep it at the 17 degrees or so temperature. And that was a little bit backwards because I talked about the yeast first, but the next thing we will talk about is the hops. Just using Northern Brewer hops. That's kind of the main feature of the California Common, and haven't used them before. They smell great. Let's find out what they taste like in a bit when I'm done. The final out of order thing is the water salts. Pretty straightforward, just using it like I'm doing the water profile for an American lager or something like that. So it's really, this profile here is what I kind of shot for, but really all I used is a gram of calcium chloride, a gram of gypsum, and 2 grams of Epsom salts. Just to add something in there, give it a little bit, something to help the yeast out.
So it's on to the brew day. I know most of you have seen way too many of these, so if you really want to see a brew day in detail, check out one of the live streams or the detailed Grainfather video linked above. Otherwise, I added the water, put in the salts, measured out and milled the grain, making sure to take a taste, and then mashed for an hour. I then pulled out and sparged everywhere and brought it to a boil. I added the hops, which were 32 grams at 60 minutes, 40 grams at 15 minutes, and 40 grams at flame out. Finally, I chilled it down and used 2 packages of Mangrove Jack's California lager yeast and planned to let it sit for about 10 days. As you can see by the fermentation profile, that plan failed miserably. I set it in a closet at around 20 degrees, but with the overpitching of yeast, fermentation took off like crazy and brought the temp to almost 25 degrees, and most of the wort fermented out in about 24 hours. It then settled out and lost another 8 points over the next week. Then I cold crashed it, kegged it up, and then force carbed it with the Blickman Quick Carb.
Okay, so here's another tasting of the beer. Here's my California Common. As you can see, the color is looking pretty good. It's not the most clear thing in the world, but I'll forgive myself. It's been conditioning for about a week now, hoping it drops out a little bit more and kind of brightens up. But for now, it looks good. The head is fantastic on it. It has a slightly off white color, which I guess is expected and good. Going in for the smell. Right off the bat with that horrible fermentation, super fast. I'm not getting any phenolics or anything funky off the smell. And getting that lightly fruitiness, which is good to me. It's what it's supposed to be. Might as well go in for a taste. Yeah, right off the bat, the fruitiness doesn't kind of go through there. I'm definitely getting a pretty good caramelly taste through that. Pretty good, or if you like caramel taste, that's what you get in this. But yeah, it's pretty good. I'm gonna go a little bit more. Pretty good is a pretty good example of wording for reviews. Carbonation level's good. Don't really remember what I put it at. I think I had it at about 4 degrees on the Blickman Quick Carb, and then just set it up to about 20 psi, just because I really wanted to carb it quick, because I was going and bringing some to Dana the next day. One more taste. I definitely like this beer. It's a tasty beer. I wish I had another common here to compare it to. Someone probably does a common, but I just haven't been able to pick one up. But it's a great beer. I definitely recommend giving it a try, especially if you have something to compare it to, like the Anchor Steam beer. But yeah, definitely give this common a try. And oh, by the way, if you haven't noticed, I do have a YouTube channel. If you haven't hit that like button, go ahead and hit it now if you made it this far. If you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to check out partytimebrewing.com if you're interested in picking up a hat. And I also have a link to the t-shirts area. So, hat or t-shirt, might as well support the channel. Let's keep these videos coming. Let me know if you've made a California Common recently or tried any, and tell me what you think. And if you want to see another one of my videos, you might as well just check this out. That's a good one. Subscribe.